A warm welcome to Triumph Women Beating the Odds. My name is Okello Sharon Nagenjwa. This week's story is as inspiring. The story of Kyakunzire Laura Angel. As a human rights and social justice advocate, Kyakunzire Laura Angel's journey is deeply intertwined with her personal experience as a person living with HIV. Drawing from the challenges and triumphs of her own life, Laura has dedicated herself to fighting for the rights and dignity of those who are vulnerable, particularly those living with HIV. This is her story. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
It's so lovely to meet you.
Lovely too to see you and meet you.
Like you're calm and collected. I'm like, wow. So just share more. Just give me more of this story of yours. What's your journey?
Yeah, the journey has been bumpy.
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel like, yes, you're achieving.
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel like you're falling off.
Yeah.
Sometimes you feel you're losing the energy to carry on. But despite all that, we keep the resilience, we keep the courage. And yeah, it's been a journey full of all that. I was diagnosed with HIV when I was young, back in the days.
Yeah.
And that was around 2006.
Okay.
But
How old were you?
2006. I think that's around 11.
Okay.
11, 9.
Oh, you don't want to count it.
Yeah. I was quite young.
Yeah.
And it's surprising that it was just a good Samaritan from the family. My father had passed on when I was 2 years, and my mother was not aware that I was actually infected at birth. And she was also struggling for her life because within that period, that's when she also diagnosed that she was HIV positive with different various skin conditions that appeared. And she was battling with the entire neglect, the whole
stigma.
The stigma.
Yes.
Actually, it was more like self-stigma. Battling with all that and accepting that she was actually infected with HIV through the husband. It was shocked that the husband actually knew my father, but did not inform my mother. So finding out that she was also infected after all those years that the husband had passed on, it was a lot of trauma for her to contain. So she didn't even think about me. But all those years from childhood, I was struggling with health, different health issues, but she didn't know. We normally would go to hospital on a normal checkup, but it was beyond what we knew I was suffering from. I had so many rashes. You can even tell from my skin with the scars. Very many rashes all over my body, and we kept treating the skin conditions, not knowing there was something
There was
beyond.
an underlying reason.
And one of my cousins at that age, when mommy was struggling with her sickness too, alongside that I was like living with one of my other cousins because my school was near her home, so I'd opted to be at hers for a meantime. My mom was a businesswoman. She used to move a lot, but within that time she had even stopped working. Like literally her family had taken over to support her through the journey of the illness.
You were an only child?
Yeah, I'm the only child of my mother. Yeah, and so in that process, one of my cousins, not the one I was living with, but the sister to the one I was living with, was working with Tasso, Barara, and actually she was there as an intern doing record something course. So, and because she was being exposed to the
world of
the clients, the ward. So she saw all the signs and symptoms I was carrying were actually exactly what she was working on at the hospital. So she encouraged my other guardians, the sisters to my mother, to take me through the test. So I went through the test after their permission, and then unfortunately I'm found positive. And actually I was at the verge. My CD4, we call them CD4 counts, were totally down below. So anytime I think I would have been on my deathbed or dead by now. So immediately And unfortunately, by then, there were no friendly services where they first have to, you know, take you through the whole psychosocial support. It wasn't there. And with that center, they used not to support mainly kids.
Yes.
It was mainly an adult center. So the situation of breaking it out for me there and then without even internalizing or even taking me through the process of taking it on as a child, preparing my mind.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't there. It was just straight to me, and it was now a struggle for me to accept the reality. And after I was diagnosed,
and being young, you have all these fears and stigma about it.
And remember, at school, we're learning about HIV and
Yes, I remember the straight
AIDS
talk
kills,
things. Yes.
what, all over the compound. Now you're the
and
you're
you
a
have
victim.
to go to school the next day or so, and
all that experience.
Yes.
I just saw myself dying anytime.
that's,
To an extent that I didn't see the use of being in school. At some point, I even tried to commit suicide.
No.
Like 3 times. I would go behind my cousin's house, and all this process, while I was living at my cousin's, I was also going through discrimination because of my skin.
Yes.
I think out of ignorance, she was discriminating me, how I was sleeping, everything. The entire experience in her home wasn't nice. Probably she had a feeling that
she had a fear that maybe it will shift to like everybody had their own. To be honest, everybody had their own perception of HIV.
Yes. So I can't blame her for that, because probably the ignorance by then and the fear of getting closer to someone living with HIV. And for me, my skin was totally bad. Yeah. So I went through it at that point. Then I really reached a point, P7. Because as enrolled after a year, we would start from Septrin. By then, we didn't have ARVs
as common as today.
Today, as soon as you're diagnosed, straight out to the ARVs. But by then, we did not have that access immediately. So we'd start with Septrin as a more like an antibiotic.
Yes.
So it would come, but still, because my viral load was really up high. Within a year or 6 months, I think it was around 6 months, I was enrolled on ARVs, the first stage.
So the Septrin was not able to lower the viral load. Okay.
It couldn't do anything. It was, I'm telling you, if it was only God that held me those years. You can imagine I was struggling with this condition right from birth, but I did not know. No one knew. Not even my parents knew about it.
But God found a way to let your cousin come in the mix. Yes.
Yeah. So I start the journey of taking ARVs, and still remember, it's hard.
Yeah.
Adherence was very bad. I'm still thinking of, why don't I die? Why can't I kill myself? Why can't so many things are running in your mind? And P7, because of the conditions back at my cousin's home.
Yeah.
I couldn't contain it. I reached out to my aunties on my mother's side, because they're the ones caring for my entire
health,
school, everything. Just at my cousin, I was just seeking shelter because the school was
next to her home.
Yeah, so my aunties were very disappointed on what happened the other side, and I told them, you know what, if you don't put me in boarding, I am not continuing with school. So I was taken to boarding. But remember, boarding was also another level of stigma.
Discrimination. Oh.
Yeah. I had to find a way to... Showering was a tug of war. I was always dressed up fully. Sweaters, long socks, everything. Very enclosed, you know. So it was tough.
And of course, others the kids would be looking at you like,
swallowing medicine, asking, what is wrong? You know, used to lie of things like heart issues.
Yes.
Like that. But it was hard. My adherence was not catching up. So I get to high school. I went to one of the best schools in Uganda. It was my first choice school, actually, Branyanji Girls. And I entered there, and now we are in a place where there are rich kids and all these kinds, you know. So I'm like, okay, how am I going to handle this?
Yeah.
I still continue with my system. I shower last. You know, girls' schools.
You had gotten used to that now.
Gotten used to that. Yes. Girls' schools, you all shower in the same. Many of you, but me, I always had to wait for the others to finish and I go last, or I go earlier than them.
Yeah.
So in that process, senior 2, I was keeping medicine for myself, but later on in senior 2, my guardians had to intervene because I was not improving. They, one of them had to come to school and speak to the matron to keep the medication and try to monitor but still nothing was changing. That affected my
But the matron in the school just kept it secret?
Yeah. Lucky enough, at that point, the matron kept it a secret.
Yes.
But my condition was getting worse because I was not adhering well.
Yes.
So in between there, I get other conditions. Actually, the heart issue comes in. I get issues with the toxins in the body.
Yes.
So the toxins affect different organs of the body. While we are celebrating that, yes, we have ARVs, but we have side effects that we face. You get to see people getting difficulties with different organs, maybe the liver, maybe the kidney. Me, it was the heart this time. So I began to keep collapsing at school. That was senior 3, beginning of senior 3, I collapsed, what. So the school had a policy. You don't move out when you're in. Those things of going home for treatment. If the school hospital cannot contain your issue, then it means you'll have to change the environment because they don't entertain in and out of
school. Wow.
So I had to shift.
So Laura, we'll be right back with that with that story. I know many of us out there are living positively, are living with chronic diseases, and sometimes you feel like it's the end of the world. But it's such stories that inspire many that doesn't matter your condition, there is still life that you have to live, and there is hope at the end of the tunnel. Yes, there is light. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back from that short break. For those who have just joined us, I'm here with Laura Joyce, a person living with HIV, a human rights advocate who is using her experiences to fight for the rights and dignity of other vulnerable people. Okay, so Laura, just to continue with your inspiring story, and I must say that you are bold and you are strong, and you know, I'm looking for the best word to use when it comes to the story that you're because most people have gone down this road and just ended up wasted and have lost their lives. But you've stood strong and now trying to help others to live a good life. Because back in the day, it was just disaster. Now, I don't think it is something to look a second time when someone says I'm HIV positive. Like, do you like it's
shocking? It's
not shocking because I mean we've been taught, we've been told about it, and it's people like you who have makes it even much more common and no more. Like, yeah. So just to proceed on the story for the audience out there that are still a bit into the world of stigma and are still stigmatizing others, it's just to show them that it's just talk.
Yeah. I want to start right from how I started my advocacy.
Yeah.
Leaving aside the high school experience, timid, stigmatization. I didn't experience a lot of discrimination because people did not know the actual issue.
Yeah.
But I faced more of the self-stigma. The discrimination was more at that cousin's home.
Yeah.
Because now this one was directly with me in her house, and So, but at school, from the school times, it was more like self-stigma. Always scared that maybe someone could tell that I'm actually HIV positive. So Form 5, I joined another school here in Kampala. So I joined this school, and a small voice in me tells me, you know what, you need to join a club, and a humanitarian-based club. When I left school, I had more passion to do the humanitarian-based work. Along the way, I meet a man. He heads a CBO in Katwe. He's called Zaga Sadat. He's very influential in the ghetto community, and he held my hand. I started my journey of being empowered to do the work I do today. Yeah, along the way, of course, through the work, school and what, I come to Uganet. Uganet chose me when on such interviews.
Yes.
I happened to do an interview that went viral during lockdown.
Yes.
And yeah, the former ED notices my strengths, and I'm called to work with Uganda.
Yes.
But this journey had very many interviews even before Uganda.
Yes.
Talking about, you know, ending stigma and discrimination.
Allow me just dive into the other bit. There are people, most of the time we want to blame somebody.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you were blaming somebody for something?
You're right. I blamed my father because I got information later from family that actually my father knew his status, but he did not tell my mother. So I'm like, how heartless. And those are some of the things that I kept wondering, how heartless. But it was not because he was intentional to infect. When you're positively living, one of the stumbling blocks that we experience is relationship. Getting into a relationship. You're scared to open up. You're scared to be left alone, to be neglected. So when I disclose, this person will leave me. Which place and position will I be in? So that is where you get to realize that we have very many more reinfections or new infections because people are looking for relationships.
Yes.
Those soulmates, the companions that are hard to find when you're HIV positive.
Have you personally experienced some hiccups when it comes to relating with the opposite sex?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I actually speak from experience personally. My dating, even when I say, okay, I'm going to date only people of my status.
Yes.
My goodness, you still find
issues
with them. Instead of them appreciating that, oh, I've found someone of my status, let's walk this journey
together.
Now you're pulling ropes of responsibility, pulling ropes of dealing with someone who is still in the vulnerability cage, you know, seeking pity all the time, this, that.
You become a mother again.
Is this what I want to be with? No. So I've had very many people approach me when they want, especially the girls, they want partners who are of their status. But even when you connect, the person tells you, no, I can't stand this person. There was this guy, my stepbrother's friend, who was interested in me, but as young, 6 months. But he was interested in dating with me. But you know this dating of nowadays, you won't just date. There was, along the way, this person will be sexually attracted to you.
Yes.
So I was always scared. I wasn't saying no or yes, I was scared. So I had come from, that day we had an appointment. But the beauty about it, he was living home, at their home area, in the boys' quarter. So I passed by to visit him. We reached there. I had my bag with drugs inside. I do not know, I went out to excuse myself in the bathroom. And this guy got my bag, checked in my bag, took pictures of the medication, and I did not know. Because remember, I'm not in the room.
Yes.
I come back, go back home in the evening. This person is sending me messages. So you mean all along you're hiding this from me? Did you want to kill me or something? What? I'm like, wait. That was the very point. I was like, do you remember the times you actually almost wanted to have sex with me and I refused?
Yes, you did not accept.
Okay. So you should be thankful that I have protected you. I never said I even accepted that we did, but I have protected you. Otherwise, I would have gone in this whole act with you without telling you.
You would have accepted to date him.
I would have accepted to date him or even have sex with him. But I did. I think he came back to his senses and like, actually, honestly, this girl was protective of me. She did not just, you know, do anything with me. At least she held back, even though when she couldn't speak it out.
So what's your last message to the audience?
To the audience, one of the things I would say is that, especially for people living with HIV, is we need to come out of that shell of being vulnerable all the time.
That's true.
Right now, we are very normal. We can live life like other people. We can do things that other people do. We need to come out of that shell of being vulnerable. Secondly, to the people that are not positively living, there is what we call U equals U. Undetectable equals to untransmittable. You can still date with someone, still have a family with someone who is HIV positive, as long as they are suppressed, virus suppression, they are they're living life well, healthy,
Yes.
and through the doctor's advice
Yes.
or guidance. Thirdly, being more responsible. Young people today are not responsible. We have so many HIV interventions, prevention, but young people are very irresponsible. Actually, it surprises me that mostly young girls, as the women, the girls, are more scared of getting pregnant than HIV today. in this
I actually
current
asked myself
generation.
why somebody has ability to have unprotected sex and not, at least, okay, if it was by accident, the next immediately go and have a test together.
Yeah.
And if something is wrong, there is PEP.
Yes.
Yeah, like things have changed right
Things
now.
have changed.
Yes. Unless you have been drugged, then that's a good excuse. But
even when they're
there's-
drugged,
yes,
they have PEP.
yes,
They
there
can
is
still go.
PEP. Things have caught you unaware, and feelings, emotions have run high. Hormones have run, and boom, you've had unprotected sex. That is not even that's not a crime. After that, still take your partner for an HIV test, and if you find that one of you is positive, then you run straight to the nearest hospital and get yourself on PEP. And it's important for people to know that there is what we call the zero viral load.
Yeah.
That when somebody has a zero viral load, that means they're undetectable. So that means that there's so many discordant couples going around. So the times for stigma are long gone. And yes, HIV is still there for the young people, and you should be careful. Don't just because there is the zero viral load, just because there is that's just because PEP exists does not mean that you should be careless and attract HIV. No, keep yourself safe, use protection, abstain if you can, but most importantly, do things that you are ready to do. Everything has a repercussion, either positive or negative. Until next time, let's take this to our socials at Girl From Wayam and at Triumph Women UG. Till next Saturday, be blessed.